Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, another weekly update. So I'm gonna get right into it. This week has been another one of those weeks that has just been, it's one after another. I just wanna keep this ride as long as I can. I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about this week in terms of the 6 pillars of weight loss, just because I think that's a great way to assess like how my week went. But I first wanna just say that if you are new to my channel, I started on Mounjaro back in March of 2023. I'm on compounded Tirzepatide. I've lost upwards of 90 pounds. So as I'm talking through this, keep in mind that I have been on this journey for over 2 years. And I also have gone down to 5 milligrams. I started that May 1st. So this is my 3rd full week of being down to 5 milligrams. And once again, another week where I had no side effects. Still some food noise reduction. The cravings aren't there anymore. The increased hunger isn't there anymore. I feel very just level. I feel like I'm hitting all the marks in some areas that I want to. And when I talk about these 6 pillars in this video, keep in mind, I'm not trying to perfect every single one of them. I'm really picking one as my primary, and I'm focusing on that each and every day. And then the others are just secondary things that I try to make sure are in play, but don't like make or break it for me. But changing to that 5 milligrams, I don't know enough about, like, 'cause I'm not a medical professional, I'm just talking about me. I don't know enough about like, if, you know, there's like, if your body needs a certain amount and that's like perfect for you, finding that perfect balance, is where you probably should stay. But I know that there's so many different struggles that happen as you're trying to lose weight, and ultimately they're like, you should go up a dose. You know, if you're not getting any of the benefits of it from appetite suppression or weight loss, maybe go up again, like all these different things. Whereas I didn't realize it until it's too late. Kind of increasing is what I think brought more and more side effects onto me. And I'm going to be doing a video on when you should know to decrease your dose, because I think I understand it a lot better now. So that's going to be coming after this video. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that video. But it was a very interesting week in the sense of still like no side effects. I felt like I had, you know, still again, I have a little appetite suppression. It's nothing drastic. I think having the ability to stick to my meal plan is really helping, and the meal timing is leveling also my body off and having the right amount of calories, along with just trying to enjoy the process again, enjoy the journey again. But I'll put my numbers up. I have been trying to stick to 1,700 calories, which would then put me like 0.7. This week was a week where the weight loss, and I don't want to do it on a weekly basis, but I know you guys like to see this. So I lost 1.6 pounds this week. That was a pleasant surprise, but at the same time, I don't feel like I was restricting myself or did anything out of the norm. It could just be really what I chalk it up to as just one of those weeks where your body just wanted to release a little bit more than maybe the other weeks. And so I did everything the exact same that I've done the weeks before. So the fact that I did lose 1.6 pounds, I can't explain it. That's the number. I'm going to take it. I like to look at these things right now on a monthly basis, but for the sake of doing weekly updates, I just wanted to include that. And I also had a dip in my body fat percentage that went down 0.7%. That's what I want to see gradually go down. You're not going to see massive shifts there, but I want to see my body fat percentage go down. Even if it's a monthly basis, I want to be able to get that number down into a semi-normal range for me. That is where my focus is. And I know those two things, you know, weight loss, body fat percentage, they kind of go a little bit hand in hand. And also, I had a little bit of a positive in the range of lean mass and all those things. But I think this was just a week where my body finally, with all the work that I put into leading up to this week, is starting to kind of flush a little bit out of my system and losing a little bit of weight. But let's go ahead. Let's get into the 6 pillars of weight loss. So the very first one, and this is the one that I have been this has been my focus from May 1st, and that is eating healthy in a calorie deficit. And that's where my focus has been. I understand some of these other pillars they're all very, very helpful. But I think for me, taking a step back and looking at some of my pitfalls over the past couple of months, it's just when you start to focus on too many areas, it gets a little bit, the lines get a little bit blurred. And so I was like, let me make this my primary focus for at least May, because I was watching a podcast where they were saying how, like, you know, when you're starting a weight loss journey or you're starting anything, just pick one area and try to focus on it for like 2 to 3 months. So I really think right now for the next 2 months, I'm already 3 weeks in, I really just want to make the healthy eating my utmost priority. And that's what I have done again this week. If you watch my What I Eat in a Day video, I really feel like I have found a good balance of how I'm eating throughout the day and listening to my body. And I feel like when I dip a little bit too low in calories, I don't do well. And I also feel as if that is what can cause the feeling of like increased hunger. It's just my opinion, not a medical professional. I think the lower I go, the more these cravings start to come out, or I feel depleted. And then I just don't have things planned out, and I'll grab for something that I don't need. So, you know, I think the 1700 calorie marker has been perfect. Now, who knows? We'll see this week, and I'll get into that in a second, where like a couple days I might dip a little bit lower because I want to bank some food for later, bank some calories for later in the week, because it's Memorial Day weekend. But it's something where I don't plan to dip any lower than maybe say 1600 calories. But if I find in a day or two that doesn't work for me, then so be it. I'm not going to do that. And I just have slightly more calories for the week. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, so that's been the first pillar, the eating healthy in a calorie deficit has been my primary focus and will be for the foreseeable future. And it's just, I think it's been an eye-opening and game changer for me. And also finding that right dose for me has allowed me to really focus in this area and stay on track. And then the next one is, I'm going to be looking down a couple times here and there, but the next one is just drinking enough water, which, let's be real here, I have no issues drinking enough water. I drink plenty of water. I drink about 1 gallon a day. I have started to use a little bit more of element electrolytes in my water because it is getting warmer and I just need a little bit more something to replenish myself. I love my Motivpure. Those are for maybe less active days and days that aren't as hot. I mean, I could use more of it. But I just like having a couple options. That's the way I've always been, just changing things up and having some fun. And then the other pillar, the third one, which is make sure that you're eating enough protein or a higher protein. I've been making, along with eating healthy and a calorie deficit, I have made protein my primary focus with each and every meal. I make sure that I have at least 30 grams of protein with every meal. And that also includes, I have 4. So I eat 4 times in a day. I have my protein coffee. If you watch my What I Eat in a Day, that's kind of a couple little things change here and there. But that's kind of like my baseline. I always like to have kind of a little lower calories when I first get up, but still prioritize protein. So I do my protein coffee. And then the next 2 meals are like really my bigger meals. And they also have pretty high protein. And it keeps me satiated all the way through till dinner. And dinner is more of just a higher protein with a little lower carbs. And that is what's been working for me this month and has really been making me feel well. I feel like I have a good balance throughout the day, meal timing, etc. So, with that third pillar, I think it's just awareness. I'm not looking to have like 152 grams of protein every single day. That doesn't happen. That was a pleasant surprise in that What I Eat in a Day video. I'll link it below if you haven't watched it. But I think that's extremely beneficial. And then the other one, the fourth one, which is just move your body. And so I noticed this week, we'll put this one kind of in 2 subcategories. The first one is just like your overall daily movement. I'll get into that in a second. And the other is I go to the gym 4 days a week to strength train. I'm crushing. I am loving my 4-day split. I don't feel like I am doing, because I condensed it a little bit, and so I'm not in the gym as long. And I just kind of combine some supersets here and there to just kind of be in and out of the gym a little bit quicker. But when I'm there, I am so focused, and I'm, got the right weights right now, figuring out, you know, just to progressive overload without overdoing it, and just learning a little bit more about how my body's feeling, etc. But going back to the second phase of it, which is just like daily movement, I've been trying to do 10K steps a day. I fell short of it for 2 days. I don't think I've tracked less than 10K steps, even when I was struggling the past couple months. And I was like, okay, it's not the end of the world. I remember one day I looked at it and I was at like 8,400, I think it was. And it was like, you know, a little bit later in the day, I was ready to wind down. I was like, well, maybe I get on my walking pad? Should I go to the gym? And I was like, you know what? Tomorrow, be more aware of it. Get your walking pad out earlier. Just be aware of the areas that you can just move a little bit more. And so that's what I did. So I was able to just kind of get my steps back up, and it wasn't anything that felt forced. And I think that was the right thing to do, because I knew that I would have been like, oh, I got to get on the treadmill for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes just to hit that. And I was just like forcing myself to do something that really, when you think about it, tomorrow's a new day. That missing those steps isn't going to, I'm not going to wake up and gain 10 pounds of fat. Like let's be real here. But now if I'm consistently doing that day over day, I gotta switch myself back into mode, because I think movement is extremely important. And then the get enough sleep, the fifth pillar. So where I'm at still with my sleep is that still a little bit of a struggle. I'm falling asleep quicker, staying asleep till around 2:30 in the morning, and then I wake up either hot or I have to pee. I'm female, I'm 45, you know, right now I'm going through it. I'm trying to look at different ways to wind down a little bit better. That's why also I'm trying to hydrate myself a little bit earlier on in the day, just looking at little areas that I can control. But right now I'm just like, I've accepted the fact that there's a high probability I'm going to get up in the night once. I just need to be able to fall back asleep quicker. And right now it takes about an hour to fall back asleep. That's unacceptable in my opinion. But I do feel as if Bioptimizers has started to help in other areas as well. It's too early for me to be like, that's been a game changer for me. Everybody go out and get Bioptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough. If I were to tell you that in such a short period of time, I'm sorry, like, that's a lie. I'm not gonna have instant gratification from taking that medication. It would be great if I started taking it and I was sleeping like a baby, but that's not where I'm at right now. So I did notice, going just off the sleep thing for a second, but I've noticed like 2 areas that have slightly improved since taking Magnesium Breakthrough. From the digestion side, pleasantly surprised there. It's really helping me just kind of stay on track, if you know what I mean. And then the other is, I don't know how to describe this because it may or may not have anything to do with it, but I noticed that there's at times in the past, like, you know, very in some ways stress, which that's the 6th pillar. But I felt like a little anxious here and there where I could be working on something that somebody was like, this is a priority. You gotta, sorry, there's a fire truck going by. This is a priority. You gotta do this. And then something else comes over and that trumps that. We need you to get that. We gotta get this in place. Something fell through. We gotta get this a correction out, whatever it is. And we gotta get it out in like 30 minutes, whatever, an hour. And so like, because it's so like, the business isn't new to me, but like some of these things are new to me, that I just need to stay calm and focused. And I noticed like last week I was feeling a little anxious. This week was like, girl, you got this. And I just felt calm, like my mood, like everything just felt calm. So I don't know if that has anything to do with Magnesium Breakthrough. From what I'm reading, one of them, yes, it could be. But that's, once again, that's then the next, so to round the 5th pillar with, to improve my sleep, still work in progress. It's not gonna be fixed overnight. I'm still, you know, trucking along with my plan of action. And then the stress, other than just some of these like a little bit more stressful moments, like, you know, just unexpected things that come my way, I even feel like I have some really good ways to just de-stress, and I'm not like overwhelmed by it. I'm not saving lives here. So like it'll get done when it needs to get done, and it'll get done correctly. If by some chance I need a couple extra minutes, guess what? It's not the end of the world. We're not set to certain standards. I ideally like to hit a cutoff, but you know what? That's my mindset right now. Let's just keep the stress down. And I definitely feel like, you know, I've done a really good job there. But yeah, overall, great week. And I want to wrap it up with this. I went to lunch with my friend yesterday, and she said to me, you seem like your energy, you're just more bubble, like your personality is back. She was like, I just feel like we got you back. And I was like, oh, because I was in it the past couple months. And she's like, yeah, you know, you felt like a little bit like you were kind of just fatigued and run down. And she's like, we all go through these moments. Like, we're here to support you. I have phenomenal friends. I have phenomenal family, all very supportive. And they understand to a certain extent my struggle, but I'm probably the only in my group of friends that really truly has struggled with their weight. And they've treated me the same way. I treat them the same way. They're supportive. I'm supportive. We all challenge each other. I have a really amazing group of friends, but that just felt like something I wanted to hear, that like I lost myself a little bit there along the way with just being not great with the weight loss fatigue. I was just kind of over it. And just needed a timeout. And now I'm coming out on the other end, and it's not like she's saying like I've changed, but it's like you're back. Like the personality is back. And whatever I weigh, my personality is the same. I act the same. And that's fantastic. What does change, and when I've said it in other videos, is my identity in terms of like how I am around the food and how, like, you know, my relationship with food and just the systems of it. Those are the things that change. I don't need to change my personality because it's always been the way that it has been, and I don't have to change that. And that just felt really good to hear. And I was just like, you know, it came from a good place because I can feel it too. And I'm not going to say that this is going to linger for the foreseeable future, but I'm just taking it week by week. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up today's weekly update. We'll see what next week brings, because it's going to be after Memorial Day weekend. And that's where just the craziness of the summer and travel and fun comes into play. But that's why I got my one pillar, my primary pillar, which is a healthy eating and a slight calorie deficit. That's going to be my focus, regardless of what's happening around me, where I'm going, what I'm doing. Any changes. And so we'll see what next week brings, or really what this week has in front of me. But I hope I still have the continued just positive effects since I've gone down to 5 milligrams, and just keeping my focus and just, you know, taking it day by day. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. Also hit the subscription button so you don't miss any of my, you know, my future videos, and turn on the notification bell so they'll notify you when I upload. I try to do them on Mondays and Thursdays, but I will catch you in my next video. Bye.